It was supposed to be a typical vacation evening for Emily Hawthorne, a 21-year-old student from California. But as she swam out with her friends in Hawaii, they were soon surrounded, not by one, but by multiple sharks. What followed next was horrific. Hawaii, known for its paradise-like beaches and lush landscapes, hides a darker truth beneath its waters. For many vacationers, the allure of the Pacific Ocean is irresistible. Its blue depths call adventurers to swim, surf, and dive into the unknown. However, the ocean's beauty can quickly turn deadly. Hawaii's waters are home to some of the world's most feared predators, and few swimmers realize just how easily they can become prey. Among the most dangerous creatures lurking in Hawaii's waters are the tiger shark, great white shark, and bull shark. These apex predators are responsible for the majority of fatal shark attacks worldwide. While locals and seasoned oceangoers know the risks and understand the precautions necessary to stay safe, tourists, more often than not, remain blissfully unaware of the dangers beneath the surface. One such visitor was Emily Hawthorne. In 2012, Emily, a 21-year-old student from California, had come to Hawaii with her two best friends, Rachel and Leora, for a much-needed getaway. They had planned this trip for months. The three had been inseparable since high school, and this vacation was a way to celebrate their enduring friendship. It was their third evening of a long-awaited vacation, and Emily Hawthorne, along with her friends Rachel and Leora, decided to make the most of the warm, tropical weather. After 2 days of exploring the island, they were ready to unwind and enjoy a peaceful evening by the ocean. Waimea Bay, known for its golden sands and breathtaking views, seemed like the perfect spot to watch the sunset over the horizon. After a scenic evening drive, the three friends arrived, eager to dive into the inviting waters. Though a storm had passed through earlier in the week, the skies had since cleared, and the beach looked serene under the fading light. However, the ocean was still recovering from the storm's aftermath. The waters, usually crystal clear, were now murky, clouded by debris and sand churned up by the heavy rainfall. Unbeknownst to Emily and her friends, the storm had brought more than just a temporary disruption. The runoff had swept debris into the sea, and nearby fishermen had discarded the remains of their catches, attracting bull sharks to the area. The Waimea Channel, separating the safe swimming areas from the deeper ocean, had become a feeding ground. As they arrived at the beach, Emily and her friends were amazed by how quiet it was. The usual crowds had thinned out, with only a few families remaining, their children playing by the shore. Wasting no time, Emily and her friends eagerly dove into the waters, the cool ocean immediately refreshing them as they swam out. At first, they stayed close to the shore, chatting and laughing in the shallows, the calm waves gently rocking them as the horizon began to turn shades of orange and pink. But as the minutes passed, their adventurous spirits kicked in. They decided to venture further out, where the water was deeper and the waves slightly stronger. The three friends tread water, enjoying the quiet, chatting casually, unaware that the evening's peace concealed something far more dangerous lurking below. As they swam in the deep waters, Emily spotted a pod of dolphins in the distance. Excited by the sight, she couldn't resist the urge to get closer, hoping the dolphins might swim toward her. Unlike Emily, Rachel and Leora were content staying closer to shore, feeling safe and comfortable with where they were swimming. Ignoring their hesitation, Emily swam past the drum lines, pushing further into the dark waters of the Waimea Channel. She was about 50 feet ahead of her friends, determined to keep going, when suddenly something powerful yanked her beneath the surface. A group of bull sharks had been lurking in the deeper waters, and Emily had unknowingly crossed right into their path. As she was dragged underwater, one of the sharks clamped down on her right thigh, its teeth sinking deep and tearing away a chunk of flesh. Another shark locked onto her left forearm, ripping through muscle and bone as she desperately tried to push it away. Her efforts were futile against the immense force of the predators. In a miraculous moment, she broke the surface, gasping for air and managing to let out a scream. Rachel and Leora, already swimming toward her after noticing unusual splashing, grew more alarmed as they spotted the ominous fins cutting through the water. They hadn't fully realized what was happening until they saw Emily struggling at the surface. As they got closer, the horror set in. They saw the blood spreading through the water around her. Panic overtook them as they swam faster, knowing their friend was in the midst of a brutal shark attack. By the time they reached Emily, the sharks had retreated, possibly due to the thrashing or recognizing she wasn't their usual prey. The fins still circled briefly before disappearing into the distance. Rachel and Leora quickly grabbed hold of Emily, pulling her toward the shore, keeping her head above water. It was only then that they saw the extent of her injuries. They desperately tried to keep her conscious, urging her to hang on as they struggled against the waves. But the blood loss was severe, and Emily drifted in and out of consciousness as they fought to save her. When they finally reached the beach, Rachel and Leora carefully laid Emily onto the sand, but it was too late. Bystanders rushed over to help, with someone immediately calling emergency services. Despite their efforts, Emily was fading fast. Tragically, she passed away on the beach at approximately 6:15 p.m., just as the sun dipped below the horizon. Rachel and Leora were left devastated, their hearts broken as they watched their friend slip away before their eyes. The beach quickly became chaotic, with cries for help and shocked onlookers processing what had happened. The attack would go down as one of the most horrific shark incidents in Hawaii's history. In the aftermath, authorities confirmed Emily had been attacked by multiple bull sharks, drawn to the area by the storm and fishermen's leftovers. While drum lines had been placed to prevent shark attacks, they didn't protect Emily, who swam beyond them. The sharks were never found. Emily Hawthorne's tragic loss will forever be remembered by those who knew her. Though bull sharks don't typically hunt in coordinated groups, they can converge on the same prey in areas rich with food, resulting in the devastating attack that claimed Emily's life. Thousands of miles away in Australia, another deadly encounter was about to unfold. An experienced fisherman, trusting a shark repellent device to shield him from the ocean's deadliest predator, placed too much faith in technology. What followed was a grim reminder that the ocean's dangers often outweigh any sense of safety, no matter how advanced the device. It was April 30th, 2002, and the waters around Smoky Bay, South Australia were anything but calm. For weeks, a great white shark had been roaming the area, striking fear into the hearts of fishermen and locals alike. The shark had earned a reputation for its aggression, attacking fishing boats and destroying gear. Smoky Bay, once known for its rich scallop beds, had become a place of unease. Boats that once sailed confidently now returned with damage, and fishermen told stories of close encounters, warning others to stay out of the water. Paul Buckland, a 23-year-old diver from Port Lincoln, was well aware of the danger lurking in the waters around Smoky Bay. Growing up as one of 3 sons in a popular fishing family, Paul had heard countless stories about the sea's unpredictable nature. Just 3 days before their planned dive, Paul and his dive partner, Shannon Jensen, had been warned by local fishermen about the aggressive great white shark that had been terrorizing the area, damaging boats and gear. Despite the warnings, Paul's years of experience gave him a sense of confidence. He and Shannon had specifically traveled to Smoky Bay after hearing rumors that it was a hot spot for scallop diving, with bountiful beds ready for harvest. Having been diving for most of his life, Paul had established his own scallop diving business in his early 20s, often facing the ocean's challenges head-on. He trusted his shark repellent device, a pod designed to emit electric pulses to deter sharks. It had never failed him before, and Paul believed that with his experience, his team, and the equipment, they were prepared for anything the waters might throw at them. On the morning of April 30th, Paul and Shannon set out to explore the waters of Smoky Bay. Their plan was simple. They would take turns diving for scallops, one staying aboard the boat while the other dove. Shannon was the first to dive, descending into the water as Paul waited on the boat. The seabed was exactly what they'd hoped for, full of scallops. Shannon's net quickly filled as he worked with excitement, gathering far more than expected. By the time he surfaced, his catch was impressive, a huge haul that made Paul's eyes light up with anticipation. As Shannon climbed back into the boat, Paul wasted no time. Strapping on the shark repellent device, he was eager to dive into what seemed like the perfect spot. With Shannon catching his breath and feeling confident in their success, Paul prepared to make his dive, excited to match or even exceed the massive catch his partner had just pulled in. But only minutes after Paul disappeared beneath the surface, the calmness of the water was broken. About 200 feet from the boat, Paul erupted from the water, his arms flailing as he signaled for help. Shannon's heart raced as he rushed to start the boat, knowing that the shark, which the fishermen had warned them about, was nearby. When Shannon arrived, he spotted a massive shark, about 21 feet long, lurking just beneath the surface. Panicking, he reached Paul in time, grabbing him by the arms and desperately trying to pull him to safety. But before he could haul him fully into the boat, a powerful force struck from the right. The shark clamped down on Paul with terrifying strength, ripping him from Shannon's grip and dragging him under. Paul's scream echoed through the air as the shark's jaws tightened around him. Determined not to give up, Shannon rammed the boat into the shark as it thrashed violently at the surface, hoping to drive it away. Again and again, he struck the predator, but the shark held on, relentlessly thrashing Paul's body with brutal force, turning the water crimson with blood. After several hits, the shark finally let go. Paul's body floated limp and lifeless on the surface. Shannon hauled him aboard, but the damage was devastating. Paul's left leg had been completely severed, and much of his side was torn away. His skin was ghostly pale, and blood continued to pour from the terrible wounds. Shannon quickly turned off the shark repellent device, which had been functioning the entire time, but had been proven useless against such a determined predator. He wrapped Paul's body in a thick doona, trying in vain to stop the bleeding, but he knew it was too late. Paul's eyes were already rolling back, and his body lay still. The boat was too damaged, and with no phone signal or working radio, Shannon had no way to call for help. Every minute felt like an eternity as he frantically tried to flag down nearby boats. Eventually, a fisherman noticed his desperate signals and came to their rescue. They rushed back to shore, but by the time they arrived, it was too late. Paul Buckland was declared dead at the scene, having succumbed to catastrophic blood loss from the attack. Paul's death marked one of the first known fatalities involving a shark repellent device. His unwavering faith in the device's protection led him to ignore repeated warnings, and that misplaced confidence tragically sealed his fate. His loss sent shockwaves through the community, leaving his family devastated. Despite his adventurous spirit and expertise in the water, Paul became a victim of nature's unforgiving power. That same power targeted Ruben Morales, a professional swimmer, on what seemed like the perfect day to enjoy the sun. But the calm quickly turned to tragedy when Ruben was attacked by a mako shark, an uncommon but incredibly dangerous predator. With teeth designed for killing, this shark proved just how deadly nature can be. It was July 15, 2017, and the brilliant sun rose over Makati Bay, illuminating the Red Sea in bright light. The smell of the sea mingled with the sounds of joy in people's voices, children and their parents enjoying their time freely on a sunny summer day. For 28-year-old Ruben Morales, a professional swimmer, this was the perfect day to reconnect with the ocean. Ruben had traveled the world since finishing college, eager to embrace new experiences and adventures. Known for his speed and endurance in the water, he had won several regional swimming competitions, making him feel confident and at home in any aquatic environment. This trip to Egypt held special significance as he reunited after years with his college friend Darius, who lived by the Red Sea and was excited to show him the beauty of the area. Having woken up very early to prepare a hearty breakfast filled with jokes and camaraderie, Ruben and Darius decided to head out to the beach, where the water sparkled like diamonds. Ruben's heart raced with excitement as he stripped down to his swimsuit, unaware of the terrifying fate that would soon await him in the waters. They swam with exuberance, their laughter mingling with the sounds of the sea. Tropical fish darted among the corals, and Ruben felt a rush of exhilaration with every stroke, the water embracing him like a long-lost friend. Usually, the Red Sea was safe, but on this day, a 10-foot mako shark was roaming the waters. Drawn to the warm temperatures of the Red Sea, which hovered around 60 degrees Fahrenheit, the shark was searching for prey. Unfortunately for Darius and Ruben, the murky conditions made it difficult for them to see the approaching danger. They enjoyed swimming while reminiscing about the experiences they had shared since the last time they had seen each other, which was quite a while ago. After a while, they paused in the water to share a laugh, their heads bobbing above the surface. The sun glared down and the beach buzzed with life. Looking around, Ruben noticed a dark silhouette moving beneath the surface. It was difficult to see, but he immediately mentioned it to Darius, who knew these waters well. As Darius turned to look where Ruben pointed, the shape disappeared from view. Having lived here for years, Darius assured Ruben that it was probably just a big fish or some seaweed. They agreed to return to the coast, since they had been in the water for a while. Although Darius trusted his instincts, they remained cautious about the dark shape, but didn't feel the need to alarm anyone. Just as they turned their backs to swim toward the shore, the quiet was suddenly broken. The surface erupted as the mako shark shot up from the depths, biting down hard on Ruben's right leg. Blood erupted into the water as the shark clamped its powerful jaws around him, dragging him beneath the surface. Before he could even scream, everything went dark. Pain surged through his body as the shark pulled him down, the water closing over his head. Fear coursed through him as he fought to escape the grip of the creature. Darius, momentarily stunned, sprang into action, swimming frantically toward Ruben with every ounce of strength he had left. The ocean felt alive with terror as he reached out, desperately trying to save his friend. He started punching the shark, his fist landing squarely on the animal's tough hide, but the creature wouldn't let go. Ruben fought back with everything he had. He swung his left hand in wild desperation, not even knowing where his strikes were landing, but driven by the primal instinct to survive. Just as he was trying to fend off the shark, it lunged forward again, biting down on his left hand and severing it. Blood swirled around him as he struggled against the powerful creature, fighting for his life. After this second horrific bite, the shark released him and vanished quickly into the depths, perhaps startled by Darius's punches or realizing that Ruben wasn't its usual prey. Darius caught Ruben and dragged him to the surface. Gasping for air, Ruben's mind spun as they struggled against the waves, blood staining the water around them. A nearby beachgoer, brave enough to help as others watched and screamed, rushed to join Darius in their fight against the current. Together they pulled Ruben toward the shore, the beach drawing nearer yet feeling very distant. With each stroke, Ruben rapidly lost blood, the burning ache in his leg intensifying with every moment. Finally, they stumbled onto the sand and chaos erupted. More bystanders rushed to the beach with wide eyes, unable to comprehend what had just happened. Lifeguards quickly sprang into action, rushing to Ruben's side. They applied pressure to stop the bleeding from his right leg where the shark had bitten down hard, but the sight of his severed left hand was horrific. Eventually, the ambulance arrived and Ruben was transported to Hurghada Hospital, where the medical team immediately went to work on him. He received treatment for his severe injuries, including a deep bite wound on his right leg, and remarkably, he survived. However, due to the severity of the damage, his left hand had to be amputated. In the days that followed, an investigation was launched into the shark attack, and the beach was closed for several weeks. The incident made headlines, dominating local newspapers and sparking widespread concern among beachgoers and residents alike. Ruben was grateful to be alive, though many would expect him never to enter the water again. Yet, his passion for swimming never died. After months of recovery and overcoming his fears, he cautiously returned to the ocean. Though his love for the water remained strong, he now swam with a more watchful eye, always aware of the dangers lurking beneath the surface. Maybe you've seen the headlines over the past few weeks. A tragic and mysterious death that has shaken the diving world. Colleen, a 68-year-old woman, set off on a routine dive, something that she had done countless times before. But this dive took a horrific turn, ending in a fatal shark attack. What happened beneath the surface remains one of the most chilling and unexplained events ever recorded. It was September 26, 2024, and Colleen Munfro, a 68-year-old grandmother and seasoned diver from the United States, was embarking on one of the last planned dives of her 7-week adventure across Indonesia. Colleen's love for diving had spanned decades, a passion she had shared with her husband Mike since their high school days. The two had met as teenagers, drawn together by their mutual love for nature and adventure. Over the years, they had not only explored the world's oceans together, but also owned a successful dive shop where they shared their passion with others. This trip to Indonesia, with its rich marine biodiversity and world-renowned dive sites, was a dream come true for both of them, an opportunity to relive their most cherished memories beneath the surface. That morning, the group of 6 divers who had grown close over the trip shared a cheerful breakfast. Laughter filled the air, and there was a deep sense of connection between them all. As they suited up for the day's dive, the excitement was palpable. The group had bonded over the past several weeks, and the familiarity between them fostered an easygoing, joyful atmosphere. As Colleen and her group descended to a depth of 25 feet, the water surrounding Pulau Rong, part of the breathtaking Alor archipelago, promised vibrant coral reefs and rare marine life, a diver's paradise. For Colleen, each dive was a chance to reconnect with the sense of wonder she'd felt since her teenage years. Confident and experienced, she wasn't easily frightened by the ocean. Yet, beneath the surface of these beautiful waters, there lurked hidden dangers, powerful currents and marine predators like tiger sharks that thrived in the warmth. The dive started with Colleen savoring every moment, knowing this was one of her last dives on this trip. She took in the vibrant underwater world, watching a graceful manta ray glide effortlessly through the coral reefs. The calm waters and serene surroundings made it feel like a perfect final adventure beneath the surface. But after about 30 minutes, the mood of the ocean began to shift. The once gentle currents turned fierce, swirling unpredictably. As the group tried to ascend to safer depths, the currents intensified, making it difficult to stay together. Colleen, in particular, felt the force pulling her away. She struggled to keep close to her husband Mike, but the ocean's grip was too strong. She waved her arms frantically, trying to signal her friends, but the churning water made it hard to be seen. Mike, just feet away, reached out desperately, but Colleen was already being dragged farther from him. Her shouts for help were muffled by the water. vanishing into the vast blue. Mike and the others did their best to fight the current, but within moments, Colleen was gone, pulled beyond their reach. The ocean, indifferent to their efforts, swallowed her whole. Desperation set in as the group frantically searched, their hearts racing. The dive guide quickly signaled for everyone to resurface, knowing the current was too strong to fight. When they emerged, gasping for air, a heavy dread settled over them. Mike's heart pounded as he scanned the water in every direction, calling Colleen's name, but there was no sign of her. The once beautiful waves now felt ominous, crashing violently against the shore. Hours of desperate searching followed, with boats dispatched and local authorities joining the effort. But as the strong current carried Colleen farther beyond reach, hope began to fade. The vast ocean, indifferent and unforgiving, seemed to swallow any trace of her, leaving only the haunting sound of the waves behind. An exhaustive 8-day search unfolded, with the coastline and waters scoured for any sign of Colleen. But the days stretched on and the ocean offered no clues. On October 3rd, with sea conditions worsening, the search was called off, and a heavy silence fell over the group. But 3 days later, on October 6th, the story took a grim turn. A fisherman off the coast of East Timor encountered a tiger shark in distress. Believing it had swallowed debris or fishing nets, the fisherman brought the shark aboard. Inside the shark's stomach, he found large human remains, pieces of a black wetsuit, and diving gear. Authorities quickly confirmed that these were Colleen's remains. Colleen's last moments remain a mystery, but the discovery of her remains inside the shark is a grim reminder that even in the beautiful waters of Thailand, danger always lurks beneath the surface. Her friends and family were devastated by the loss, none more so than Mike, her husband. Now alone, Mike was left to grapple with the heartbreaking reality that he would never again embark on adventures with his fearless and adventurous partner. When you enter the sea, you can never truly know when your final moments might come. Thanks for joining us for these intense shark attack stories. If you're curious to dive deeper into more thrilling accounts, your next video is ready and waiting on screen. See you in the next one.